Immigration Act la Carol. Immigration Act, mimbenda banko kay kamin tamandi. Niya jube atata kabrin amanke bikuti kabrin 1965 jamano. Woluwalo are not fit for the purpose. Ninata be smuggling, trafficking, ika operate nyami. So basically, what's a fallen no nyami? What I mean se no woto, walemko, na banko ngasong, mansakunda esong, and na deputy bungo. Ye pare kawoluwalo falling because of the current realities of our country. Na banko bimbe tembele to miyalonko, institution manya naka weak, institution manya naka loke batu. For tragedy yeke, for massive, because nilmo kule te miyalonko a long talent. Mote Gambia bimbe tembo minto, means hafok, foni mari yake politiko la karokam. Wara yake filibante yakam, wara yake taula yakam. Bari mote Gambia bimbe tembo minto, min mangi lonko, irregular migration, min to mu backward, mun tola banko e problem wat. Paske 2024 ntolonga kibaro ludile ko Gambia mo min bota Gambia 2024 dama asiata mo wule killing keme flati mo min banta Gambia 2024 be la manna 2025 again 2025 loka we were counting Gambia fonike min niebe boka nyinsi loka Gambia fonike min be milka kalafil. So basically akwaitale alontale ko irregular migration mimu backward womun tolla banko la problem so anyanta keke institutional be sula kulet sakantuma institutional mi ka faiko National Assembly parce que itolla ka lual dada itolla ka lual accept itolla ka lual reject ma foko altale constitutional fale malla fika may ko excuse ko coming 1995 or 1996 constitutional be burhanin sai. That's what we are doing. There are certain sections, there are certain laws. Mi yalan ko isewol amendment. It's a law putol introduce non. Mbe ngalon ne ko na karamo do yata nyawo nyarande manke lawyer bari ngalon ne ko na mansa kunda the cabinet aning parliament ye o sembo sotol ye executive power sotol na banko loi o sembo dilal kawuke na problemo muminti muna hatinna amanke munne mfutandi bila mun dalil le batinna andu nyimma pol amanke politique kuti amanke NPP kuti amanke UDP kuti nyimmu banku kolt député li mem beben to la député bunkon député ten to la député bunkon bimbe tembo min safo ko amalo ko Gambia backwe seru ma 2025 fonfon 2024 amalo ko 2024 molu fatale backwe ani ayatara mo tanem. It should be a concern. Sakantumo, we are counting of hundreds. Mbafoka ne kemol. It should have been a concern. Kabin 2024. Amanke. 2025. Yes. Nga kalamu daleko. Immigration Act or for bill for whatsoever. Probably the majority leader will come to that. You know, after that parliament. Ndefongana adomanyong kachal. Nala meeting dolem in Berlin. You know, inform leko, there is something that is coming up. You know, a very, you know, it also those are very good laws for the current, you know, current Kulmin Betaka. But then from last year to now, honey B, well, Gambian no Kuma. So these are usually the problems. Look, sign them the situation of Minto, immigration department number, police number, all the security agencies will member Gambia. If the operational minke can be, it's late. Well, it's good. Ikala minnako is late. Police will form a report and the immigration department from 1st of January to 7th of January. Police will immigration department ning Gambia police force ye more ming stop of going to Backay, ye mill control is more than 700 in 6 days. Is that not a tragedy? Is that not a concern? Yeah. Is that not a national emergency?
So it's a yafoleko, you know, explain yafoleko lual melbije, call melbije. It's a mira because honorable Bejan and Ngajelo kala internet man chance deala abe on and off.
No,
pour honorable
let me comment.
yeah, honorable nisi nano ka
Matu
comment
let me I think it's important now pour ngadung
yes,
do some clarification as well.
yes,
Abaraka bake day jobate yalong migration is as old as human existence. Hamadungo nyantolem pour ka safari ite most of them pour ka safari bari kabring bankol sutla independence sutla banko dole luwal sanin sartol lande ka foko janni kana banko kan nyanta ka tamarin nyalla pour mo batina la ibe welcome la visa akoto mu you are welcome ni visa de la munta ko o banko sonta ila lunta yala al banko kan you understand migration irregular migration or backway concern le mu Gambia bari lafta pour ka mol fanan haklo reverse koma do manding ninko we are still been affected by the spillover effect of the previous regime wala muko Gambia num be detol kono bake marro membe Gambia num be ya londe nga sedial ay molbe batandi manni jino mol man ferino banko traka kuliya hanna tara ma imal la fi Kaifa Express, or for Kaifa Express, it's taken under the current circumstances. We are kandi journalist jama, iblate noma, ye dol sorong, ye dol uday ni dol yuremanta. So there was a gross violation of human rights. Gambian call board the tolokon nung. Ola kandi near asylum case or report to any country near apply, you stand the chance of being received as a political asylum. Ola kandi Gambia nunto, kaide soto, asylum oka soto. In these Western countries is very easy. But yalon no komber jimo men kono aman democratic I hama molla nyanto nakarle I hama nyanto tinyale mo be lonne. So o harma di nyanto tinyani akara saboti it open up a window pour more fana migrate. Wala kendi the euphoria of migration illegal migrate backway akata ku darja mbati mo be ko kata backway mo be kata backway. So even after Gambia functions under normal democracy, the trend continues. What can continue saying? But near more engagement in the immigration department, Germany, Italy, near more Jamal asylum people jube, it can mendundi is political asylum. Or political asylum it all acceptable because Gambia side democracy abe Gambia le asabarita and abe tamakan. Wala can the Nico Mbota Gambia because of X, Y, and Z, Ibukela Moino and Bike Barle. Kafok Sai, Alaban Kolto. Nte entera Germany once, twice, Ning Yasoka Kanyojale. So Mbea Sutele, Memukola that J. Ibukela Mo, if you call yourself an illegal political asylum seeker, Yalunoko Jang Sai Gambia Kono, democracy being Adam Baroya Afenang, I more still a sign for Molka abuse. You understand? Now, wofanang wala kendi pour kanyi bakwe ko jara akada molbul dal ko le sign dal na ko kabrin ya jamano fo say mon ma blano. However, nyanta jube dar ka examine muna kendi fonni ko man sabat no banko kan na tara ni ngo study kuke fonsi boro kala ibaji la ko nge sabat ni yela Gambia la ka foko isa make no jande womu man sa ko la responsibility mbina jije malare. Because funga enabling environment create, a opportunity create. Well, I can be under the current government. I activate Central Yele, Technical Vocational Training Institute, ILE, and from a Science and Engineering Technology University, na create le puruka mecho di mola, funding taring. Right now, nga project Jamali ya kabrin kunu. Nkontanta Gambia dinigol melon ko Carnegie University fe be parta. Wolle mu project supervisory, wolle mu project consultancy in the country here. You understand? So opportunity mantarje no say nimi be so kan dumani nyantale kam masakunda fanang ye o siandi ya encourage ye bola fa o karola ka enabling environment create anu fanang ka requisite knowledge fanang londo melon ko yalo molna nte I believe that high na educational curriculum nyanto ka revisit because na conventional way or conservative way of education sign nyantale ka falling ka men ka nga jikoto na karango on lundol bunda ka nyatlindi of problem solving in society. Iba ila ko ni educational ning society la society fenke choknyola hanna tara masame employee ni te part like society be need they don't need you. Wala mu lolu jumati.
We lost Honorable. We lost you. I think connection, or maybe Mustafa usually kafole koni moye call, aka call or break le. While Honorable nga Honorable Miss Lemma moy, Honorable Mbuke moy. Hello, Honorable Bouquet Moy. Suleiman Jeng, why is we are waiting for Honorable to come back? La halat sili. Honorable May Moy. Suleiman.
Yes, I think mom limo wane come like government bange initiate programs remittance ak citizenship pour gay hamga banya rely on government ñu self employ ak yoyu wa hamga lolu bala mo am the atmosphere must be conducive, you know. Atmosphere we wanna create those facilities and opportunities yo hamne doomi réew mi duñ soxla génn si réew mi di dem daani dawle somewhere else. Let's say for example wax naa loo xam ne is very important mooy review suñ curriculum bi.
Hello, okay. Sorry, somebody called me WhatsApp. So Nian called Kakundle. So coming for is important as a nation to revisit our educational curriculum. Nyantale can tailor towards problem solving in our society. To look inward, issue of engineering, issue of plumbing, issue of construction, issue of health, issue of research, science and technology. Molu ngoke as priority in school, like a compulsory courses. Imagine like hano mari pareta. You have created at least 60% readily available job for him or her in the market. Now get a cybersecurity expert on site. The banks will need him. Now get a science student. There's readily available job. As dilapidated health system mbakono a finance contribute nole. Now get like engineering in mechanical engineering. As the fitaka nole. Now get an engineer in construction. As so quantity survey nole. As no kujamati. You understand? So I think it's high time nana educational curriculum revisit can make sure that London di mola melonko abe nafala. Akana ke London can send melonko just essay just to come and stand and blow grammar. Look at the COVID-19. It has exposed Africa. I am more been exposed. Most of the they have acquired doctorate degree in health. But even to conduct the research to bring a solution, COVID-19 jaro makeno. So we just have qualification in paper, but in practice and theory, I mean, in real Fenko at J. So now, coming to issue of this Backay sign, there is no amount of legislation. It's even put no J. Natural implementation is not working. You understand? You don't need to amend the constitution. Already there are laws in place. They frown at irregular human trafficking, irregular migration, trafficking law. Persons is already condemned. Gambia also is part of many international organizations. Human trafficking in Daba Kole, Mealonko, Gambia Banko Lakafoko, more human traffic. Allow on the Masakuna family. So what we need is to resource the department in a surveillance navy can make sure Dokran will deal yetari geo can 24/7 surveillance. Understand? So nibe in crime or police is not only supposed to have it in law on black and white, but to also empower them to implement. That's what we are fighting for in Parliament. Can make sure na policy, of course, we can revise the policies, but policy I outdated. Well, like the Minister of Foreign Affairs, right now they are developing a policy, to address all these challenges. You understand? So Okamala, it's a issue of migration issues. It's a administrative constitution. You can have a regulation or instrument. Like there is already an act of parliament on human and people's trafficking. So already it's about minister advice le pro aita or law revisit can make sure if those crimes are adequately punishable or not, and what are the things can make sure can more sensitize. Coming in come from Yemen is just the mirrors of Europe. More camera connected Europe is everything. Peer factor for Nankatarjele. Ni la karitata. Ni kardunda ele family kono. Zabo imagine ite mu ke jordan walti. Nimfele ay ba silota adunteje. So that mirrors of Europe. Kafoko Europe is like Arjana. So fananga more fanam batandi bakel. And it's not reality. Nde, as I'm speaking now, I have relative melon ko nkela haila bungo joy in Europe. Ning kakaro father, I'm helping them because imando kusudo. Nga almur na le si Gambia. It's better. You understand? So basically, I think John Dola Company kabin Germany nga pledgement wala mkafoko to conduct a national dialogue on migration. And the Minister Engel can make sure to conduct a national dialogue on migration. Kamol kalamutandi. How can we convince each other? Nyo famu nyadle, nyo kalamutandi nyadle, pour mol sa longo dukare. This illegal migration or this backway, a manque solution to kasaro lemu na bankwe. These are na bankola resource is the bodily every men and women. Me alonko the funding caring banko sulari na pro dokoke. Ni wol tata.
So honorable hakitunge nyininka quickly. Yalong kuo yaje dalilo le bala. So na funding kel mune la reason follow pour ka bagwe nyinta. Niya juwe most of them ilafta kata ka kutote because iya jiko suo kono imam kudute noje because doko tije imam facility soto miya lonko wolbe sindi la Gambia. So jani be sensitization kela about migration munatina ila government mang solution or create to that problem. Minube funtindi la banta you will create at home so that funding kill te funtila.
The best solution that the government can give to the youth is education. Karango, wala keninka ko Masakunda University of Law, University of Science, Technology and Engineering can make sure ngata lundu lukari.
More karanta. You have so many graduates. Gambian University can graduate Jamal produce.
This is last year university bill project. You last year Gambian for. So
na personal moment monemu karangula nafati ni doko tije.
Hambole ma yalong ni karanta inyante leo kan yemen karang asibalunduno. You understand? But wo ita kenola fue londo le structure in line with problem solving in society. Sign right now there's construction everywhere now. So more sign yentaka sula le kafoko for duna e wuli there will be always construction. Let me go and specialize in quantity survey. Let me go and specialize in road engineering. Let me go and specialize in construction. Let me go and specialize in this kaza. So your education must be tailored in solving a problem in the society. Iba yako government doko dilaba amadilaba itesi la kumfa yeronole mostly dankuma. You understand? That's very key. Wala nankaya ko Londo is very very paramount. You understand? So there are several sectors in the society belonko for dune wuli wolu ibekelale. Niye bungo law you need a plumber. Niye bungo law you need an electrician. So for whole sector of Jube, how do we connect societal problem to our education curriculum? So make sure that at least ninyule bandi karangola. Akala nyawo nyandi mechetiyo. Iye men karaya long. Niye mecho apply. Isi baluno. Wala duna beto wala Europe. Alba Europe bimfo. Bari ni mo fana diabla kaya ko alka son katayo men spend in Europe. Alka time men devote dokola. 8, 9, 10, 12 hours of work. Niya devote Gambia. Ye karango sudo. Ye londo sudo. Ye londo fana I fence a woman. Niya ni son taka odo ko kajang. You'll have money. There's no magic about that. You understand? So ngalono ko right now, the problem is for us to identify the problem and problem in community. Masakunda ta be employ nola. Masakunda se menkeno to create the enabling environment for private society to strive. Yes, strive in the country. And also, the bankudingo karandi. Hanna tara mansame tano, bari billahi menkara, is balbalunalal. You understand? So, one mu solution ti. and to revise the mindset mol sa lon ko fanan ka foko kari tara Europe amanje ko make on to nyat dol bi janne me alon ko i wul janne i mente janne i bela business ke kan andu fanan yela dimbal dañu nole motala Europe akada mol bul liability ate banna jabe farinje tep motala Europe le because of peer influence and strength be nyameng akada mod me ko akasira every day motala Europe fanan a tewsidi ay sobe muta ay mo wanni lul mo wala babalu ka noma o be bi jelle so fonga molle famun ka foko tanin tabale Europe ama kende ka fo ala men safe kuntu ala kulli halin ibu bo sublale but for life auto the first thing is the principle of believing in yourself yende ka le fawdo ka fo ba mekla
honorable yemembe for is true for moye belief ifangola but until already the system and the economy ay mola self-esteem mol nyanta lale fanna fa table because mol tata to a point me alonko ijikila teitale ando nimmo jikila teita ila system obe kata lafte sambala dula kiline iko implementation wala problem odi so muna na parliament man legislation or law ke je me alonko forcing implementation fana because I think that is possible because for example I mean your education for like education apprenticeship you will be follow but Germany I mean I know Sonko is in Germany did apprenticeship but with law apprenticeship law you will not you luale not working South Korea did the same thing your policy industrial policy law you will not China did that can you know when Benjamin they broke the law in fact no way because COVID situation or Cabranata lots of companies lost they lost lots of revenue. What they did, they invest in entrepreneurship because I realized during the COVID, entrepreneurship help. They invest in
you are very right there.
You are very right. So
let me help you. I'm coming.
Yeah, and also again the budget 146 million. William the budget for
sorry. Implementation is where devil lies. But our nyandi coming up on Yaming, from Mol Fanange, near Tadokola. Is Sonta Kayindokoke, Dukare Lila Alay Atamandi. Kanake for President International Sudokoke. Kanaka for Fundamental International. There has to be an additional change. Ni Sonta for Dokosodo. Gambian call I can mathematically for a point. Near a point to call upon I do that you go be full. Of a Mol Nyanda Kadajuko falling. But it's a say you call the Fanyika Han Naji Gambiale, even promotional, more lobby. Yeta ye makamakuma dila, yes, ye nas. Dukare, na Wulibang, na make sure Kafoko Gadoko Menke, Makakan for Kakan Sama Alfale, the generation yet on board. Kaka Wole, Dukare. Neither more floor,
legislator because let
me tell you, there are some ministries that's clocking clock out. But how you
exactly?
That? Respect.
So but still there's something lacking, honorable.
The Masla syndrome yantaka banne.
But I believe one thing. Na nata Europe aka focus because I look then system owning that is institutional alkaso men na kawatu men dedicate Europe kadoko ke billah wala de niyo warsifa ikwa watu dedicate jang you'll make it molema body wala nanko system molema work fanang man sakunda len yenta system all work la make so institution function civil service function.
That's true. That's true.
There's something wrong wala na hani bi yaya kamemfo MP sold there is legislate of course Gambia is not an island. Legislation yata tarala jele or legislated me alonko loi me alonko enforced implementation.
Yalong man of you look understand back. Nico so Nico like in a clause now. Nico carry sal do this thing. Sal there is mandatory. Nimake there has to be punitive measures. There has to be reprimanded. There has to be punishment. For not doing it.
Yes.
But in belief Gambia, Ndolu our society African Nyameng too much of familiarity and too much of Masla syndrome compromises professionalism.
I think Bully, Honorable Tunkara,
Okay.
If I were you as an MP, I wouldn't say that. More especially as a majority leader, can admit publicly there is a lot of compromise in the Gambia. That means your government is not doing the right
I'm
thing.
not. Don't cut me wrong. Let me put you right. My for compromise. Coming from co.
No,
Too much of
familiarity.
familiarity.
Compromise because I'm following you very keenly. Eko kujama bije come like familiarity. And there I believe ko as a leader, ninga mo appoint nga position o diala ala job description o nying Minister of Education, for instance, Yemim is like education policy nying wo nyanta review lale.
Yes.
No, I agree with you 100%. And nyanta na education nyanta na society la needs le reflect la. So ni minister appoint for 2-3 years. Imagine any progress ke. Mune ati na ite wo bondi la yedo kije miya lonko abedo ko nyinta mandela anyame. Anyama. But ibaje la ko it's like a lot of people for baro buka mo by baro buka fenke. So because of that, wo fear factor tije. So as a leader, he's the supervisor. So nae mol appoint, it is his responsibility ka jeko, every minister aya sarti minna aya ke wonyale. Nga mo yaka fo kabring ako abe Ibrahim sila appoint na. Ibrahim ko he doesn't know the work about works. Why would you appoint someone me along go where admit ko amado ko no? I don't understand that. So more iba appoint na because I londo
know how
a commitment ning soto andung the apareta kadoko ke. So wo familiarity I think wole ati na banko nying abukatano ate yiruala because ni mu nyaton ko hani wulu dingo nae place soto ayake amanya na kila nyameng inyanta example set la wola so that don't
others will learn from him.
Yes. So ninte make atekela. For instance, ya jamela watu sunyaro ate damale ka sunyaro ke corruption obemu ateleti. So official bije munati na wol buka sunyaro kenu. But his saying is like everybody is talking about corruption in the Gambia. So mune okay because yalong ko jamme even though he's a dictator niye sunyaro ke ake mutale ay sorom he wouldn't even take you to court. So that fear factor bije because gali along ko he would react as a leader. So because Baro is not demonstrating that leadership skills or that leadership vision or that leadership authority wala na molman sila. So he can't nakala sudu no ilafta minna. So don't fanka for if you are not rich barola wato you will never make it.
You see, let me help you, my brother. You see, you don't really need Kafuko. Baro has to watch over you to do this thing. What we need is to strengthen our institutions to regulate you. Yajele ninga institution of Bambandi needs semben to yada back. You cannot bend the law. Ita kenola.
For instance, for example,
if you build the institution, you don't build men, you build institutions. If you build the institution around the sector,
but in your deliberation, it is for constitutional lual bije. We don't even need to change it. Amen. So obviously the rules are there. So lual wolemu institutionality. So the problem in the Gambia, yeminu for wolemu na problemoti. Similar familiarity nying and maslaha nying. Because na for hande muna sitsaleti ngalong we were together at school ninga apon ni nde kuke I'm not going to subject her to accountability. Jang niye doko di mola at the end of the year woka sile ay account di niye budget diala at the end of the year akasile ay account di kodo nangam nying aya spend nyadile aya dundi mintole itila doko that year ye mune achieve mune deseta imaming complete no ibe o complete no la nyadile and planol mune be caring pour ibe o achieve no la abe Gambia.
Okay, thank you very much. How long the current government kabri hachi winter second time he tried to introduce what we call KPI, key performance indicator. Kafoko, I am now going to have a contract with each minister. Ila ministry must report to cabinet every 3 months. As positively, you contribute to the minister as a minister. So I don't know what's really wrong with that, but definitely I'll pick up these things. Kafoko natara let them still employ that, because now even the late Pedro Juf, Akafoko, there has to, because I tell him Vice President Tamo, Kafoko, he's going to tax all the ministers. Kafoko, you must be result oriented. There must be a key performance indicator to give a quarterly report, every 3-month report to cabinet on your success. The resources are given to you. Parliament has legislated budget. Kakodo dealer is a ministry. What have you been using those funds for? And what are the impact have you created on the society? So what I strongly believe that Ningo implement Backay will also see some results. You understand? But what I'm telling you, leadership is equally important as the govern. So if anang mealon ko lando I don't know, trust and confidence detail, the reports trust on you. Kafoko ninga nyindila dukare kana maru franjamba. Ni mano dukara murundi. Dokonye murundi. That's been honest.
If there is no consequences on this, then there's a problem. Because menga ke wole muko honorable. Performance contract ika wole for KPI nyol. Ndola jang the same thing name. This December, I was struggling to really get my whole team to target. But I didn't mares staff all blue. Mares was ngaluko. Everything will come back to me as the manager. So I had to work extra, drag them in, pull them in, and use the law and the performance target to get them to get to the target.
I agree with you.
The whole system will fail.
The system is not really encouraging us. I took some entrepreneurs to Germany to go and find money angels for them, because these are startups. I made an extensive report to the Ministry of Trade. We must legislate law, make sure in our budget now, we cater for the startups. There has to be a startup act. But their problem is more of packaging and branding. Otamo. Groha was with me. Farm Fresh was with me. Smoothie Franco, more German Germany, under the invitation of the CDU, Christian Democratic Union. I think I can attest to that. I think he came to pay a visit on us. So Ning Waltara for Jele to look for money angel for them to help support their project. But at Laban Nola, we must assume a responsibility. Currently, the minister told me that he's working on a startup act. School, in idea that either can deba, aketa makeup artist lemba, aketa smoothies lemba, aketa be it growing agriculture lemba, poultry sector. Government should be ready to give you a seed money. There has to be a regulation in the law. How long would you be a startup? That's a different story on its own. Masukunda for how many years? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? We cannot also keep giving you our resources as a money-making venture. You must be seen transforming, making results, tangible results. You are really progressing. You have to migrate at a point from a startup now to a company. Our dream is to to make millionaires through a startup. Germany are willing to empower people, and that's what we are doing as well. Right. So normally make sure there is these startups. Okay, to create a budgeted provision in the budget for them. Inshallah.
Vaka. Sol, danga am nga yok o ye fence to be make adla Sol be meet in Sol Baji. Then I saw Yaya is lifted. Yaya fana ba blow nigga. But Sol Baji quickly janning be Yaya tala koteke. Sol.
Yeah, thank you very much. I I put my camera off because I'm in the middle of trying to get something done while I'm listening. I'm going to give a lot of credit to the government, NPP, Alaba Barola government today. You know, I don't do that, and I'm doing this for this reason. I think this is the first time I am seeing the majority leader, Honorable Bile Tunkara, engage the media fraternity. I have never seen him interview, so he can correct me. I stand corrected. But this tells me
I
that
saw him at Kirfatu several times. I think
okay.
he engages the
Yeah,
media.
but in Sky Power, this is the first time.
In
The only
Skype is
time
my
they
first
come
time, of
here,
course.
they
Thank you very
insult
much
us
for those
on our
commendations.
comments.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Honorable, they keep on insulting us in our comment, but we've tried to get MP people, they never come. But this is the first time. Yes, Saul.
It's
We
okay.
Okay.
Saul.
But also, I stand correct, and I appreciate the response that yes, we have. I've never witnessed seeing Billy Tunkara being interviewed by any media, but I'm glad this has happened before. But what this tells me is that I think the government, to their credit, today, because Yaya is saying maybe this problem has gone beyond solutions or being solved, but there's nothing that is insurmountable in the realms of things for this universe. Anything can be solved because we have been given that intellect and the knowledge to be able to do it. So memu diamoti mem fokan. This is why it's important nga kachanyin kuala mandika konro in a local language.
Exactly. People comment very quickly on
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yes. So I hear the honorable member talk. The first question that I would ask, because I think there's an admission for all of us on this planet, on this platform, and in Gambia will be on there because of Yaya Foleko. Moti Gambia member for this chain illegal migration bekekane, or what you call it, backway migration, or irregular migration. Whatever name you call it, ngamira mobe alone, if you're a youth and you care about in Bangkok and outside, you know that we have a problem. So that is a given. It's documented. Everybody knows how many people are dying. We can debate the numbers, but it's a serious problem. It's a behemoth issue. So at least the numbers are out there for people to wrap their heads around. Kafuko hadamadi membe fakan nyim silo kang kabog Gambia and abe impact menke kang especially Santo Banco to down kusainitare look at funding je. We all know that there's a problem. So in a nutshell, what is going to be the solution to solve this problem? This is the point that we need to really debate over. I hear the honorable member Bafokankoi, Tibet institutional creatively opportunities will be jail. He's talked about construction is a booming real estate. I was in Gambia this past summer. True story. That is true. It is a booming real estate. Me alonko. It doesn't have much to do with the government. It's people doing things from their pocket. But dalilo me ati na mansakunda sotota. Okay. Wolem nyintiko. Mansakunda la dalilo momenti. Whether we know it or not, because we're learning. Bimbo can DC dropping my daughter's coming back. Well, and then if I look at this young man, Yaya, and Ibrahim migration, it just connects me and it makes me a little bit disappointed and frustrated about our country. When the banko kono ibitakan they have opportunities, but the opportunities mantra dikan to la dindungola. When these politicians themselves, it will formally happen to several times kafoko. Yeah, jamela time there's a huge number of students me alonko, dindual me alonko, they don't have these opportunities. They're frustrated. So what would be the solution now? The problem is these Tibet institutions will need university member create kang in Farababanta. I can tell you for a fact, Bilay, you can take it to the president and tell him, Solbaji, your former schoolmate from Muslim High School, you're not going to be able to have the number of students you want to enroll in the university because the foundational skills Menyanta settler 10 years ago to this day, Alma okay. So what are you going to do with these institutions that you're building? It's a great endeavor. I cannot water it down. It's one of the most important things me alonko banko nyantalakake. But like Ney is saying, you have a number of students or diniwal many alonko, they don't have the requisite skills to be employable. Like you just said, real estate bejele, plumbing, electrification, and all of these engineering jobs that are there. But diniwal be frustrated be Gambia, they don't have jobs. Taxi, they don't have the skills. So if they went to Germany, which I can tell you, Germany wants to have kids, young people come and build their country because their population, there's a disparity between the number of people and in the youth population. They want to fill the void. But it is more not Nola from Gambia. They don't have any skills yet not in Germany. What do you want the Germans to do with them? They know the consequence. The new man doko soto. Aman skills soto. Far pareta are frustrating because that's what the government's job should have been. I mentioned this. Masa kundala doko momenti wala nyinto ninge londije wala nyinto ko ndeninde nimbile tunkara and Suleiman do baby tal nga doko ke ninga doko ke nga namojo ninga namojo nga ke aranke soto wo aranke soto National Assembly ka jibele ka foko what is our plan B and what is our plan in the short and medium and long term future. banko be in tembo alpha lor kono nimma nyim problem all solve inte tanola from point A to point B. It's like a GPS. Need about DC ko beta Minneapolis like you need to know how to get there. So ni banko ya foko kodo be aranke soto ni nanga molem. What is our most pressing problem? There could be nothing more important as our most pressing problem than the youth folk. Because in the new monk dok was sort of a frustrator. They will be in the streets. Either they break into people's houses, they rob people, or use drugs, or worst case scenario. Terrorism na ye fundamentalized kafoko alama sekunda mala times. And that's the consequence we should avoid. Well, mansakunda yanta jiberale. What is the most pressing issue nyanta men to be? The education. So the new many along man skill sort of. There's probably at a minimum 200,000 or maybe 150,000. Many along they don't have the skills. But what do you have available right now? Bankokono. Agriculture beje, mon laftal ka domoroke. Fisheries beje, mon laftal ka nyol sort of purke fam balundi. You look at those two things and then you add tourism. Tourism is a fundamental key issue. Gambia ya enjoy for 30 to 40 years. What happened? You need to look at all of those things. Right now, the new they don't have these skills. What do? SK Finance Minister at Parliament at Diamta. I heard the Vice President. How many jobs has the government created? Parliament. We don't know how many jobs we have created. So to solve this problem, you need to look at what the problem is. You already know what it is. What are the solutions to fix it? You know the number of kids. At least go and do some research. Find out the new many alonko. They have dropped out from school. Mojeldam many alonko. They could have gone to the UTG or to these Tibet institutions, but ila wululal man kodosor purka joye puretaje. You want to know what kids can be trained or Jumale si doko sotono in this area. You find out what their skill sets are. Okay? Because I'm so concerned about the Gambia. This is why I'm sharing this, but I know it's not going to go anywhere. They don't care about this. They're just going to talk about politics.
Musa, is it
So
Musa
listen.
I'm listening very keenly.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Well, I'm glad you're listening very cleanly, and I'm hoping you will do this. But I'm not very hopeful. But I'm hoping because I gave you credit for the fact that you're here with this issue. So I'm coming for when you look at the number of students, many along the new youth between the ages of 18 or 19 to 35, skill sets. Now you have to go to the local governments and talk to them because that's where the government should be engaging. Give them the funds and have them bring these kids to their local government centers and find out what their skills are. If they are lacking in education, you want to make sure you can either give them a second chance, interested to go back and go to get a certificate, a GED. Then now you can put them in college and pay for them to go to college. But the most important thing is right now, you look at these kids, you want to get them engaged in agriculture, you want to get them engaged in tourism, you want to get them engaged in fisheries, because Nimbe Banko Nafala tenfold. Not only would that create jobs, but it also brings in the revenue that the government is going to collect in taxes. And also, then we start cutting down the imports. But we're not thinking about those things. We're just going to continue to just brush it off on the top. And I'm hoping we're not doing that from now on. Because the new Beparekanate, Bekamfarine, Musdole Diamta Kuno, Bile Tunkara, honorable. Me alonka e memfo monyanta sino baliala na. Ako, marsakunda mantara problem solve kay mantara doko dikan dinni wala. So it all dingol kawuli every day tara sirinje mantra fenteka. They're not adding any value to their livelihood. It all musol kata marse auto ne doku domanding mensoro. Abuke fang blood balu ibuke la kondong ni simang ni dasamo besoto no. But the new beje. So they say they would rather have these kids yeta ye bang ye fa bakono. Well if it's a tragedy. That's a tragedy, man. Mo manyan na sonna moyo for banko kono. So that is my point of frustration, Kafo. You have to look at the problem right now. We already know what it is. Put down the solutions. Try to get these young people engaged in something. Kana CJ Kafo, ni problem because banko do da meta jane. We all know this is a problem. How do we solve it? I've been listening to you guys talking. I think there's some points that are being made that needs to be taken. Because Ndoke didn't come for Kafo Molmen Banta. What is first and foremost important is Melio problem or create Mansakunda Yamuneke Walla. The people who supposedly may have been engaged in the murder of these young people. What are the laws that the National Assembly has put in place to enforce and tell the IGP to prosecute those people? You don't do those things, this problem is going to continue. That's my take.
Thank you, Saul. Ngamera Ngela Backay, and thank you very much. I think I agree with many of your points. And Kafoyoko Iladiamo Kunu Ninga summarize. It's like we are speaking the same language. Paske Mbeda Kota Kafoko, there has to be a skill set. And how do you assess those skill sets? Masakoyenta Kakaoke. And it's not only Kafoko to assess the skill sets, you must also create the enabling environment, institution, who can make sure to provide those skills that you've identified. The University of Science, Engineering and Technology is here. And secondly, also, how do we help them? That is what we call second chance education. You got pregnant at teenage age, you drop out of school there. We are giving them free education. That's what we call second chance education. It's all over the Gambia. More contact anybody or anybody in Kakafoko. Second chance education will be Gambia for the Gambia. And thirdly, coming for about financing as well. That is why Parliament legislated a law last year. Ndolenga passed. Kafoko, let's also do what's called education financing. That is student revolving loan scheme. Hanatra, ite mudobalti, iulula makeno. There has to be. We cannot lock all the windows out for you. Opportunity for you. Kafoko, if you don't have money, then it's done. No. Government should really look away. A window of opportunity. Kafoko, hey, come access this admission. Go and school, but by the time you finish school, it's a loan given to you. It's a job domain. That's why we bring the student revolving loan scheme. Only in Europe. It's free. Among free. Anytime you get a job, if society you contribute in paying that loan. Nia Joe, you call it academic, that's call it revolving loan scheme. Ikatale ya di sambana jo adi partner jo adi la. Aka revolve nyale. These are all innovation in financing education that create as a government. So in a nutshell, we are speaking the same language as well. Bari, nyantele, of course, muso eme for I am balofa. Bari, fondike jama. I'm sorry, but I have to be honest with you. Fondike jama in Gambia. It will fail near greater bandali. That's education. Ibuka sahi koteke to go further, to specialize. And for me, grade 1 to 12 is just the basic. Yeah, basically but it can specialize in an area. You must possess your degrees and your masters. At least one be fanan secure sama sitting ni parta isi do ko mesi nafa. So we're in agreement that not only Gambia, that in the entire Africa, our population, youth population is our major threat now if we don't give them attention. Every country right now, their pressing concerns are the youth. And that is why until relentless, as far as our government is concerned, we will never relent in terms of finding solution, a remedial solution for our youths. Until relentless. And Aramabaro government has been demonstrating that in various ways. You understand?
Thank you, Honorable. I saw Yaya also have been raising his hand. Yaya, up so
Yes, Sitande. Honorable Diamo Konani, Diamo Lato Malube. There is one key thing. We are Honorable Lual Bijel. We should just implement them. And again, this will take me back to, yes, of course, Lual Bijel. But then Lua Jamal 1965 and Lualu, I'm going to implement from it.
Yes.
I'm going to court. I'm going to court Gambian authorities themselves. Immigration Department of the Gambia, ila PRO, just recently, Mbala interviews with Lamoikam. He said they have a lot of challenges. Ye challenge Jamala Soto, but don't have any medical home. Ye akoye challenge Jamala Soto. Amanke ko coming imantara ila doko ke kang atela claim ako iba katakan immigration department ila level on ako ila challenge ol jamal kono par kilimbe je wo kumayata I mean for min ben sambakan nani point to luala karola wala mun ko ako nie bol muta itoli arrest itol mem muila doko wala kamol control so near control then in police all like a team up police all prosecute samba pour ke prosecute bari because na lual la week nying lual mi be kabri 1965 they are not fit for the purpose. Munakake is ako amanke ko ibike samba kitila dole fo nyini garo kaja. What is happening to the people that they are arrested? So minkake is near samba to courts. Ike samba le detained for 72 hours whatsoever. Then near samba kitila. Near samba kitila. At the end of the day is Jojo nin courts all mimbe Gambia. They have nothing to use now and can na lua bukol. Na lua bukol me use the penalties there are very minimal. So it can charge milla ni small hasolu they score millions ni kulungo da magada they score millions coming jubeje wala mnyindiko nyilka crime commit and secondly ka gain min sono kodola karola mo kulungo kono minimum kodo kaminjo is $70,000 per individual. Okay, so near 70,000 ila kulungo ni ba load la minimum ikamiki 150 to 200 people. 70,000 multiplied by 200 individuals. That is around 14 million Gambian dollars onwards. But near samba kitiela, of course, immigration department appear more for. But upon near samba kitiela, atela foroto, nganantela viuto, near samba kitiela, Jojo, you know, ike charge minda, ika at the end of the day is like, you know, it's next to nothing. It cannot be compared to the crime that they committed, you know. So, but because lua, the same lua can for a use. What Latin nango is right time. Parliament accept, Gambian authorities accept laws. The current laws are very weak. Immigration Act, you know, it can be used something. Jojo in courthouse can be used is very weak compared to crimes will commit na bankoka. Yes, any more be arrest. Cooking and for Nico, Jojo another way use, another means use, you know, ye police because of the cool better the current trend. But before, it can be arrest. I'm not going to cook it. But then next minute is they are free because it can charge minna, you know, you know. So that's one thing. And there is one thing, Sister Day. Yeah, I don't know if this is clear. You know,
it's not clear, but we can see the
yeah, I want to just bring something here. I just want to bring something here to the attention of every Gambian. You know, Moduba Fokane, Nkamwele is like Jamela time or migration or this and that. You know, and I will quote Information Minister of Gambia, the current Information Minister of Gambia. He was trying to compare irregular migration, you know, mang fake. There is a coming atenya photo, you know, or because I'm a young Gambia government royal. Well, immigration, the current trend is normal.
Sorry, Yankuba, Nakaya. I have to now intervene in my meeting now. I have to close the meeting right now. I've been away for a while. So right now it's a political meeting. I have to come and give my closing remark. Then attending across to Janjambure. So I told this guy, Kafoko, we have to do more of this program. Okay. Very scheduled and definitely I will avail myself and we can discuss about
I'm happy you are here. I'm happy you are
here. May update la. On of course I agree with you. Not everything is perfect in terms of law, but we will also engage the Minister of Interior to look at their laws that are archaic and trying a review so that we can bring them to standard to suit the current realities of lives.
Honorable Abarka Bake for yela time mendi ngalong ko ibe busy na bari ye time di Abarka Bake ngasula nyinsi fa kachala nga hakilo di nyola.
And thank you so much, Saul. I've really listened to you keenly coming up from Yameng, and I've learned a lot from you. Inshallah.
Abarka Bake honorable, and then Mustafa will probably have a contact ala koteke to see if he has time so to purkana Abarka Bake.
Okay, yes. So what I was trying to what I was trying to explain is Mimbe Fokan, the information minister, called Ming Falinta the reporting media house who look at information in Karanyami on irregular migration. You know, but then Nte has somebody who is working on this field. I differ in opinion with him. You know, with due respect to him, I think Dr. Ismaila Sise, one thing he is good at, you know, he's a political scientist. Doctor knows better. He is well informed, you know, and the current realities in Gambia, more caring means because Mbe will do the Gambia, you know. Yes, Yaya Jammeh time. But Yaya Jammeh time and currently, most of us knew Munebekeka Yaya Jammeh time. We are talking about irregular migration. We are not talking about Yaya Jammeh as a dictator. But Yaya Jammeh time, who in the Gambia, Yamo Kulumol Kabwe, but then Barola time, like the beginning of this program, accident sort of officially confirmed, even by my Gambia government firm. Ma told them my Yaya Jammeh time. Ma for kulung mam boy Yaya Jammeh time, but coming the current trend is different. But it can add back to in fact, Dr. A some statistics only for at coffee time with Peter. Well, I try to bring some statistics. Dr. Abemin Kekang, Ismaila Sise Abemin Kekang, Abe mind Jable Play Kang Gamenolka. Because I statistics will mean there are statistics. There are statistics. Milialonko, migration researchers only old bondi, some NGOs. Yes, I agree to that. But doctor, there is one point I am in long and no atadalo lakang because ateba kekan based on politics. Ako, I statistics will mean sambanang. Yes, these are statistics me along researchers only bondi. But lafa kami gamen only being understand is near migration from according to I'm having some figures here, right? From 2023, just 2023 to 2025. Okay, near West African Banco, Africa Banco, migration of a trend can get back. Gambia is at 8%. Gambia is at 8%. Many don't like countries like Senegal is at 34%. But I'm trying to bring these things, Dr. Kaming use a tactic of, because Akafigo only but he will never go in detail to describe or to explain. Nearly 34%, you might think that is a lot compared to Gambia at 8%. But one thing that this new statistic mantra may explain, is like, what is the population of Senegal? Senegal population is more than 14 million, right? Gambia is just 2.5 million, if I get it, I stand to be corrected, more or less, okay? So 8% is a lot. That's one thing, But what about that man thing? I will come to something more where Dr. Sise Alafa Gambian Olfinia. Is all detection of Gambians EU border crossing per year. This information, these statistics are from Frontex. Frontex like statistics bond. Okay, it starts from 2009. Of course, Yaya Jammeh time, and this was more or less Dr. Sisebe statistics will me use ka. But illa faka explain gamen ole muneketa ni statistics all imam fenne tandi or imam fenne explain. But don't migration do kono. I will explain to Gambians. Doctor Bemune use kanja, Abemun tactically use kanja. Yes, near Yaya Jammeh time ojube 2009 to 20 to let's say 2016, 2009 to 2016. Near the rate Nijube, it's like 2009 Damma, okay, 262 Gambians. EU border crossing per year, okay? So you come to 2010, 2012, but then let's go to 26, Yaya Jammeh time, okay? That brings us to what the honorable majority leader was talking about. It happens according to these statistics, it happens in 2016. 2016, 12,927 Gambians. And we all know what was happening in 2017. So Nitata Barola time on, okay, in 2018, at Jerusalem, it drops down. And then I will explain to Gambian as somebody who is on migration, working on all this data. Galilo Latin America in 2018 to 2019, Ajita drastically. Because you remember, Kabri Coalition 2016 Kana, Honorable Halifa Salanyon, Ahmad Banyol, and of course, including Adama Barrow themselves, Fatmata Tambajang, the former vice president, they have a promise to Gambian youth. We know this number of youth number of, they were even given figures. Okay, this is what we are going to do. So basically, what experts are saying is 2018 to 2019, migration or Mola movement slow down because there were this hope for a new Gambia, a promising Gambia, a Gambia with new government, a Gambia under coalition government, a Gambia under President Barrow, Halifa Sallah, Lawyer Dabo, you name them. Okay, it was a Gambia that was promising. The movement slowed down. But then not only that, in 2019 to 2020 to 2021, there is something that happened. I will remind Gambians of that. In 2019 to 2020, there was COVID-19 pandemic. Nobody was moving. Almost even flights were not going. Nobody was moving. Backay stopped because both all from Bosoti, Molbata. And how does irregular migration operate? They operate through Kamotot, Kabosolta from Gambia to Senegal, Senegal to Mali, Mali to Burkina Faso to Niger, Niger to Libya.
Yes.
They can both only use. So in 2019 to 2020, that was not happening. That is why it reduced to 307, only 307, as per Frontex here, Ming record. But where Dr. Cesar failed to acknowledge, and Gambia government, and it can use, Pruka minister figures only use. Pruka for
so just a minute, clear because they are very quick at the whole Jakasi. Because it went down immediately after the 2016 coalition because of course there was hope because the euphoria was there. Gambian more baby hoping more ngan yo soto ko kolbe kol falintale Cairo betara Gambia do kol betara je yatra we ajindi. So which means the statistics come in because we all read statistics, we all work, we read statistics. In statistics come in with and wole muko ni mole hope soto ite mafa migration be banda de back we katala for 2016 for 2017 ila statistics wole yeta
exactly.
That means what time on Bele hopes or hadn't told members in diaspora and hopes to Gambia one more Jamaica and invest in a coal Gambia.
Exactly.
COVID time off and of course there is no movement. Honey Europe jump on the same thing.
Zero. Yeah, almost to zero.
COVID time you cannot try even near try because everything there was security all over the place because Europe there was like movement the security was high. We're dealing with now situation whereby members here in Europe we feel hopeless when it comes to Gambia.
Yeah. So if you look at the same statistics, okay, recently it started getting increased in 2023. In 2023, after COVID-19, it rise up, took up from hundreds. It rise up to 9,247 Gambians in 2023. So, yeah, exactly. So basically, and then the trend continue. As of this year, the number of Gambians who will Fintita are in thousands. Yeah, understand.
So since 2022, I'm just trying to more understand. Since 2022, Amanta Duma.
Yeah. So basically, this is what I'm trying to explain. The biggest challenge we have before is just currently Gambia government start acknowledging irregular migration is a problem in our country. But then past months, from last year to December, what ila narrative is that irregular migration is normal. It's just media reporting. So they were downplaying it. They were downplaying the entire thing. Hadn't been with seriousness, what is probably tragedy on the 31st of December would not have happened. Prior to that Jinaki incident, more lutana Jinakile, reports will fin in media household for Tara Jinakile, journalists will Tara Jinakile, your report will fin in the Katandiko, Jinaki, thousands of people. But Gambia government may react to that. They only react Kabiri Kuluma Boyd, Silta. On the 31st, that's where the action plan started. And from that day to now, is they are only intercepted. You know, 700 people within 6 days. That tells you there was a problem that Gambia government was not, you know, acknowledging, basically. So people like Namanda Kunda should stop to downplay this thing. You know, among Febo, Amanda Bako Febo, Nima Sakunda, Minister Kasi can you go downplay based on political reasons? Because he might have migration or this and this and that. What is going to happen is like Akamola, Ikamola feeling the population and they feel it, the movement will continue.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, because it's interesting to Backay, Ika flow me for because honorable Tijang, but discussion about like most about more la hamo, more la willingness. That means ila statistics shows it no, when people have hope,
yeah,
when people don't have hope, aka rise le and mbe along ko be nyame su amantara takang anyanta tala nyame. So these are some of these things that come in this. Malo Suleiman Jeng, do you have anything to add? Aning Sol Baji Janing be Fenkila. We will continue because in discussion on immigration, we have to get to the whole of immigration because we saw a lot of issues of border control and all these things. But try kampuka immigration for an PRO nati because laftanyin diamo kata to the root of the people. MP, hopefully, Honorable will have more time next week to be here. Fanang nganying quota. We hope that immigration from a PRO we look at the border control. Why is not banco? Munana na banco keta sentati. And also, I mean, other things we need to look at as well with probably the MPs again. Why is 146 million being a budget for youth, Minister of Youth? Because I mean, another banco talante obemu or more than that bemu young people. How come ila budget is so small? Saul Bajai, so I think Saul was coming in. Saul
Yes. Nay.
Yes.
I want to thank this young man. Yalong may disappoint. I am frustrated. Last week, the week before, Ibrahim Migration, who is a co-partner with Yaya, was on a brunch with Lamin Cham. The new diam tale fakumbota.
I can imagine.
Because ako, ala telefono never shuts down. It's always getting phone calls. Adiamta Fananka explained Kafako, he has been trying to engage the Gambia government for the longest time. And in the other white guy, Mealonko Obama to try to bring a resolution to this problem, a lasting one. But no Kenyan before Ibrahima is not on our payroll, nay. Ibrahima is not a government employee. Ibrahim is a young man who should actually be productive. Kamola banko mako prusini sama dinual si fanje. But listen to what I told Bile Tunkara about the fact that I worry that they're not serious about what they're saying. I hope I'm wrong. Because whatever mol nafala, whatever arma baroni Bile Tunkara ninte be ba la banko, whatever billa. Because Yaya, I be age mentor. This young man, if you train him and you give him the right skills and he's in Europe, at other Gambia,
and the resources.
That's right. You train him, you give him the resources. Yeah, bita Gambia le. I do okay and have a good salary. I ala muso futu, naman futu. I do also do. What dingol wollel bina sinin samaniya ya kotota. Wollel be banko lola. If you cut that trend, okay, which is a cycle, we are now cutting that cycle, and it's going to be a consequence we will have to pay for. I don't know more understand, but this is the point.
Yes.
Yeah, from Ako, Adama Barola time 2016. Yeah, I will remember this song. I say this all the time because it's in my memory. Ning coalition tara campaign la di ningol men kataro tefto motol kono kamenfo mbaw bulen ke manta ba ku etala Adama Barrow kanyeta. Am I right or wrong? This was the song.
Yes, I remember the song, yes.
Okay. This was why the kids were hopeful.
Very popular song. Very popular.
Yes.
And they were singing it from their hearts.
Yeah.
They meant it.
That was the reality.
These kids meant it. Nay, in dinungol fangolele atina ya jamea la bagaso paka fintida because we dinungol fintida out in the streets. I learned God sign the population trend because the youths are always the vanguard. The youths are the ones who change the narrative of a country. 1945, India and in Pakistan be break la water mena. It was the youth folk who stood and prayed But if I doko ke a campaign to break away from India. You're okay because the youth folk. Look at what happened here. Yeah, Martin Luther King was not. I'm 59. Martin Luther King knew all the other young people like Congressman John Lewis. These were young. They were young when they started the protest and civil rights movement. And then the other young folks, all of these people that you hear their names saying, when they started doing this, they were young. There was a story with America Young during the civil rights movement. A group of youths, the same age group with Yaya, they went to a white man's restaurant. That was a sit. They went down and they sat down and they told these guys that they wanted to buy food. They had money. And the restaurant owner, this is what is so critical, because democracy in day. Akamunta ko yebu ko le ba karanka mome buko sabe wole ya long dalilo me at night buko sabe wole ya long I menke buko nyinkono. So you read it, you learn from that. So that's what we're trying to do with democracy in Gambia and Africa. Memu in dinol tare sita restaurant or they insisted on eating at first iko be baila. But listen to this day. Tubabol not realize kafogo. You know, nintolian na business or yele to everybody. We make more revenue. But nintoko tubabo damale bena domorosana. That revenue is cut. But nindinual natali ko be domorosana. So all of a sudden, a catalyst was broken where ya jego kafogo. Yes, maybe the lafila mofi on la bake, but not on the business olam. You know, domorosana. Ne domorosanga kodosro that beast puts more money in our pocket. Natanga kidnap bank to na hajol to boranga dinunga la karmojo.
Yeah.
But this is all that civil rights movement was doing to create a level playing field. We are not creating a level playing field. Molbe siri man sakunda ambe jola ni kodi yamala. National Assembly members of Jibe. They said before Ibina in 20 they hold on just a second. Before Ibina in 2016, National Assembly members of Yarma Armabolota, they were being paid $7,000. And now Biletun Karanyul, Ikejo Jelela, they're paying these people $100,000 salary.
Of money with other allowances.
Yes, and the allowance they don't tax it. So man sakunda mbe more joke and kolola. Yeah, but jealous ning day. How can you be jealous? You're the one that's paying them the salary.
Exactly.
If Yaya Bailey you struggle in Europe, how much money did you say the diaspora just pumped into that economy?
872 and then .05. Yeah.
Last year it was $748 million, right?
Correctly.
So
Yeah,
Tom Nada, so that I can give him the platform.
872,05.
Okay.
And then the central bank is saying that it's like 54.42 million increases.
Yeah, because it was at 47, 48 before last year.
Yeah. So
Sai Memena, it's more than that. Like a 54 men for Yalom Boasiri Fanang is another guy we need to really talk to. It was 748 million last year. It's 872 million. How can it be 54? That's more than 100. That's over $100 million. 872 million, right?
Yeah, because according to central bank themselves, it's an increasement of 54. Is it? I have it even on my wall. I'm just quickly going there. It's an increase of 54.42 million increases.
Okay, all right. Let's give him that number.
2024.
Yes.
Yeah, that's 54.42 million increases, representing over 30% of the national gross domestic. So we are almost actually getting into 1 billion, which is Gambia budget is almost like, is it 2 billion? So we are almost half of that budget.
Nay, you know that Nidagara Gambia, Suleiman Tara Gambia, and Dolbeni Tara Gambia, Kodomen Samba. If you captured that amount of money,
yes,
the total amount of what we put in is close to $2 billion.
But he said it, the central bank rep also said it, that these are just official they captured, not
correct
those that they cannot capture.
Exactly. So my point is, this is very important. Suleiman Jeng be UK, Ndebe Norway, Ndebe Jang. If I go to Detroit, Maryland, but if I went to Baltimore, I will see the kids walking the streets, hanging around the corner, doing illegal stuff. The other intelligent video pictures put kanaka share junk on this platform. I see people tinkering around, they're engaged in drugs. They're either drunk or they just a waste. That is a decay and decadence of society, right?
Yeah.
But if I go to Leesburg in Virginia, I will not see one child wandering around the street. Dalili Jumalem, they set the laws kafugo dinuing from the age of 5 katafuja bita college or 18. You must be in school. The
Yes.
emphasis I'm saying here is the security that we need for our country. Dinuing from engage. Before you put at 18, they are not mature. They can be susceptible to all kinds of things. You train them and keep them in this environment. But in the meantime, they make okay. We don't say these things. Being in the education sector, now what they do, Saul. And then in Saul, we are probably the same age or maybe a year or two difference. When they know that I'm getting to the age of retirement, they have the bad feel, but they have to control that population in the bottom. They have to go to school, and this is how they're able to manage their unemployment rate. No one day it will be out of control. But the kids either go to school, the aim is the majority of them who graduate from high school go to a university or college. And then now they have 2 more years, 4 years, 10 years. That is the tragedy of Africa. Ninga okay, the Ningoleta school, they don't have anything else to do. They stay out of trouble. They will be engaged. They'll get the training they need. In the meantime, ni mol siata to a certain age, they retire and step down. Ikane bulaje ya foko ibetala jane forever. They have to go put the new plus alta. But this is a system that is completely discombobulated na Bankoto, and we will not be able to solve it. Ndanga be problem of the continent. For in the new bulletin.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with you, so definitely, because even Norway fee is the same thing. Can Norway nyame. Of course, near Norway for Molka for I could also tell, but although that mabuka banko samba, niman system mol put in place structure. And honey and dindingol at certain age, near also to yetarambe doto. Ike stople. Police all case stople. Yela age meaning I have got iman at this time of the night. Police all be found if only like drive foil Bamaya, ifamaya, ye warning di ko nyin dindingo amantara amanyana this time. Ika si le fam police all ye call.
Ndo male.
Wo system all baby janne. Gambia ika dindingo jele melon ko imang hani 10 15 mol ke jembe dolto. Ika je dolto. Sol Suleiman come in Sol.
You quickly man
Suleiman, yes.
I think I would start. See New Year be gisneng policy. They did a very good job. Even the public commended them. So I think new Geremlen Santalen, because it's not every time new gisneng good works or Dylan recommend. So the police did very well. New Year be managed Senegambia at the festive year. So ñaarel bi tamit maa ngi sant honorable Bile Tunkara pour mu ñëw from NPP. So we've tried. I think the only one we got from MPP was Dusano, and then that was it. Bim ñëwee ñëwaatut. So and then kii ñëw is quite commendable as well. I think lii la NPP need pour ñu génn at least ñuy wax waaye waruñoo select si yenn media houses lañ war a dem waxtaanee ko. So gannaaw loolu nag li ma bugg a draw suma attention ak suñ déglukat yi mooy li Sol Badji highlight on at the beginning ne suñ youth si ñi bari ñu ngi des ci àll bi ci géej gi. So xen na loolu du ñu affect léegi waaye 10 years 20 years down the line we are all aging ñu ngi mag, so dinañ retire maybe in the next 15 20 years ñu retire. So suñ amatul boys ak jigéen ñi léegi dañoo gis even xale jigéen yaa ngi dem si bagwe bi. So that youth population currently ñu ngi lose ñooñu in the sea. So su time bi ñëwee 20 years down the line ñun ñu retire amuñ youth yoo xam ne ñoo war a ñëw take over. So loolu is going to affect the country a lot. Dafa affect its development, dafa affect its stability. Because like I said, xale jigéen yaa ngi dem, xale góor yaa ngi dem. So obviously suñu sëyut ñu produce ñu kind of am ay doom ay njaboot. So suñu amee doom léegi sax ñooñu after ñoom like ñooñu di take over. So dëkk bi dafa need like youth force bi. So moo tax li Mr Sonko wax government bi is very essential ñu draw ak enact policies you know, yoo xam ne dafa govern, dafa control this illegal migration. So beneen bi every problem dafa am solution. So su crisis amee da nga gëstu what is the root cause of this problem. The root cause of the problem is mostly ñoon xam nañ ne youth si soo gisee ñu génna because dañ bugg a tekki. So tekkee leen bugg a moo tax ñuy génna nekku ne dañ bugg a ñëw Europe or they just want to travel moo tax ñuy dem back way bi di risk their lives. Bugga nañ suñ génnee ñu ñëw at least ñu make something and then they take it back ñu delloo ko ci Gambia. Loolu moo dee tax gaay génna. So loolu su amee government bi dafa war a create avenues, dafa war a create opportunities yoo xam ne dafa attract xale yi ñu bañ a génna. Te obviously yow for instance yow yaa ngi ma employ as a police officer maa ngi receive $10,000 a month. So that 10,000 suma rent in the house rent bi maa ngi fay 5,000 for a self-contained 2-bedroom. Saaku maalo maa ngi génne almost $2,000 or 1,500. Suma transportation at almost 2,000 si weer bi loolu ñaata mooy des si suma salary bi. So I've spent it only on rent ak saaku maalo ak transportation. So ana dépasse ndawal bi ana yooyu te there are so many youths yoo xam ne soo gisee ñuy dem because amuñ employment. So Gambia balaa nga am liggéey you have to go through other people. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So so fa xamut nit amuloo any connection yow sa family dafa dellu gannaaw sa njaboot gi duñ am liggéey. So moo tax sometimes you don't blame the youth because obviously doomi adama bu nekk ku ànd ak sagoom te xelam màcca wér bugga naa tekki dara bugga naa def dara soo toogee nga gis ne yow mënuloo def yooyu soo doo toog nga dem sàcci. So am na yoo xam ne is like xale jigéen dañoo ne Sénégal bi xale yaa ngi yaaxu ñu ngi tuur ñu ngi def nii ñu ngi cagatu lu tax duñ cagatu amuñ fu ñu aane boy si lu tax duñ sàcca amuñ liggéey soo leen provider lee loolu even li moo wax remittance bi moo wax soo seetloo remittance yooyu xaalis yooyu yu ndee seen actual victime lifin yi ñoom ñin returnees yi xaalis bi ñoo am ak officials ñi manage programme be yooyu ñoo leen dee ëpp xaalis they take 90% of the money xëy na ñoom only 10% bi moo leen a reach. So one of the things yoo xam ne they are ideal and I agree with him bu ci njëkk mooy ñu redefine suñ education system bi because most of these soo ko seetloo education system bi léegi they are just educating people to pass public exams. Da nga gis ne even university students léegi suñu làkkee angale sax léegi xam nga dang dee sega because doo dee mun a understand. Of course I understand ne in other places like China, India and other countries then they study in their national languages. So seen national languages gis naa the other time si der jaata mu ngi génn mu ngi wax ci loolu pour ñu start teaching our youngsters through sun national languages. Soon reform education system be like, for instance, man always am the advocate. Let's say for policy, for example, my is Watson Gambia, you gain on Bena story building, you policy ko build from scratch. So government balanga jail contractors outside, police bank fa, army bank fa, you get mechanics, you get engineers, you get masons. Luta government be do use new save resources than the jail contractors outside. You xam nga policy suñu liggéey ñu am xaalis balaa government bi di génne xaalis di jox policy yaa ngi make seen own revenue through seen mechanics through seen engineers yi. Army bi is the same, immigration should be the same, and prisons. So loolu dafa cut cost for the government. Look at agriculture. Léegi a lot of Gambians in Europe ñu ngi dem back home ñu ngi invest into agriculture. This living like produce fruits, vegetables ak yooyu. Government bi su create on a market where in henna, for example, man maa ngi produce oranges. So oranges yooyu su fekkee ne mënu yëpp mënut a jar like jaay doom yi mun nañoo change yooyu into juice yoo xam ne dañ ko make bottle juice ñu jaay yaa ngi ñu ngi amoon time ñun biñ nekkee xale ñu ngi amoon Julburu was producing the best drinks Sénégal dañ ñëw di jënd la Coca-Cola ak yooyu and all those things waaye léegi jaay nañ yooyu I think Senegal is producing that and sending it to the Gambia pour jaay ko so suñ amaan yooyu obviously we can produce our own like juice ni mu wax suñ naan mburu yi xam nga suñ buy yi ak all those things local beverages so loolu yaa ngi create opportunities like he said su fekkee ne government bi create na a fund boo xam ne for instance hen na sol baaji ne okay léegi dama dem Gambia I want to invest in fashion and design you know okay léegi nañ la jox 50,000 or $1 million and then within 5 years ñu la support di la monitor and si di la trainale so at least so demee ba mun a taxawal sa boppa yow di nga employ other people xaalis boobu bu nga delloo si government bi mun nañoo use boobu joxaat somebody else koo xam ne dafa lifin so loolu dafa bring about self-reliance and self-independence financially so su nit ki reliable financially obviously kooku du involved in any petty crime so petty crimes is also most of these people are dropouts nit ñi ñoo xam ne xam nga they come from homes yoo xam ne they are struggling I wouldn't say they are broken homes waaye homes that are struggling financially kër ñu bari léegi soo leen waaye dañoo ne su nekkude gars yi diaspora yi kër yi duñ fa taal li ñooy lekk so xam nga loolu is discouraging agriculture bi seetal suñ jën yi xam nga ñu ngay joxe license yoo xam ne amul benn control nit ñi dañoo ñëw fish even jën yu ndaw yoo xam ne dañ leen war a save yooyu war a màgga war a reproduce is not happening léegi soo buggee coof bu koreke na Sénégal nga ko amee ak yooyu te bu njëkk ba Sénégal Gambia lan dee ñëw uti jën
so Suleiman doggumal sax démba ñu ma woon benn boo xam ne ñu ne $15,000 la ko borom doo jaay on a video de ñu ngi wane ko ñaata la bu ne $15,000 dama tiit
imagine loolu
démba ne $15,000 boo xam ne nii la am $15,000 nga xam ne
time boobu bruful dañ la dee may jën because si ngoone dañ la dee lobster la gaay de gën a na faral jël jëm jaay ko si hôtel bi jën yi dañ la ko dee may waaye léegi amatut te nekkul ne xam nga soo gisee policies ak excuse me ak licence li government di joxe loolu lañu war a review Sénégal bi gars yi toogee they review all their license fishing license waaye Adama Barrow government am baa ngi wax ne they are not going to review fishing license so obviously dafay ñëw time ñun suñ henn na set yi duñ mun a amati jën in the Gambia suñ buggee jën they have to go and order it from either Senegal or somewhere else so when it comes to accountability and governance xam nga nit ki Gambia dafa tuuti obviously ñun ñëpp xamante nañ we are interrelated waaye loolu warut a tax duñ mun a hold each other accountable maa ngi doon seetaante video someone was saying corruption is only bad
gis nga Gambia dogguma la de sorry Gambia is similar to Norway dafa tuuti almost ñëpp xamante ñoom seen boppa dañ la ko de wane people know each other dafa leen to a point dañu wane sooy am job so you have to get network and all these things so it's similar but loo si ñoo fa nekka soo nekkee suma xarit nekka suma mbokk ñoo liggéey loolu la yaa so
mindset bi moo ñu sunal because maa ngi doon seetaan video waajee ngi wax ne corruption is only bad su fekkee ne you are not involved in the act but if you are involved in the act it's not corruption te dang ko defend and that is exactly what is happening in the Gambia so toogee nga ne xam nga corruption mu ngi fa mu ngi rampan ñu naan la no there is no corruption here o henna fii la xarit duga fale la beyi jaar te su fekkee ne du bugga réew yow yaa ngi toog Norway yaa ngi comfortable suma toma mu ngi America mu ngi comfortable man maa ngi comfortable so lu ñu sonal affaire yi Gambia ñun nekkuñ fa henna suñ demee ay 1 week 2 weeks o henna 6 weeks su yàggee ba yàgga nga ñëpp si so waaye soo gisee ñuy wax bugga réew mi Gambia is less than 3 million and mu ngi am independence since 1965 Seattle Birmingham is almost bigger than the Gambia population B is almost 3-4 times of the Gambia so Seattle Birmingham you think is Benin Dikala and it's just one city in the UK So luta ñun mënuñoo develop in the Gambia. Ku nekk soo ñëwee obviously buga nga dëkka fu baax buga nga lekka lu baax buga nga solo xam nga cool xeeñ lu ne waaye loolu soo ko def dafa war a nekk sa ñaxa nekkul ne alali mbooloo bi nga jël biñ la dénka nga dem di si teral sa bopp ak sa njaboot xam nga soo tëddee guddi naka nga mun a nelawee ci loolu nga xam ne yaa ngi sàcca alali mbooloo yaa ngi jël loo xam ne du sa bos nga dem di ko jox sa njaboot ñu koo lekka nga ci samba boy ak yooyu so it's terrible mënuma understand to be honest léegi-léeg soo waxee nguur gi li nga wax citizen si li it's like li mu wax you employ Gambians and the worst of all mooy ñoo xam ne yàggoon nañ fi di struggle ñu ñëw di liggéey nguur yi Baro ñoo fa gën a yées ñoo fa gën a yées because amoon na ni moo demee ñooñu ñoo waroon a téete Baro because óolu na leen jox leen place so daf leen gom ne su leen dénkee place bi dinañ ko liggéeyal liggéey bu rafet so ñu dimbale ko liggéeyal ko liggéey bu rafet ak óolute bi mu leen jox xam nga buñ ko disappoint but they don't suñ demee di enu seen saaku fen yi dem di wax lu nekk
Suleiman fooguloo tamit ne Baro si boppam tamit war na di seetal boppam thing because Baro dafa lokki in the age of social media in the age of technology in the age loo xam ne mu nga toog sa cabinet sa gis lu xew si àddina si yëpp I think is lazy because
I always yàgg naa di wax loolu ne sometimes
so Tom
evaluate boppam waaye da nga gis ne léegi soo ko seetloo in the last few months you can see a little changes that he is doing
Tom
in terms of youth more employee more interest yes Tom sorry
Tom sa waji sa Adama Barrow du wéceeku Adama Barrow du wéceeku te nu ndey di wax ni loolu moo fa nekk give him some credit nag am nga Adama nit ki tamit da nga wax dëgg ñëw na
at all understand nga
déglu
for him man li ma feel ne mooy ne moom is too trusting ba pare du dee supervise
why so
Adama foog ne Suleiman
you're giving Adama Barrow too much credit
I think Adama doesn't have any competence and we have to be very honest.
Thank you very much. Tom, you're being lenient to this guy, man.
Adama doesn't try to learn anything from all these almost 9 years.
Yes, Tom. Yaya Jammeh bim dore numel in the beginning and numel at the end.
I'm not denying that fact. I'm not denying the fact that Barrow has only developed his personality. Why he has not developed his leadership.
Awesome.
Well, more than money, his personality. Because understand why? Yeah. Oh my God.
Somebody is noisy. Okay, see Suleiman. Suleiman for noise. Suleiman noise for see all. Okay, Suleiman is somewhere where there is noise. But Suleiman, they explained, like, more, this whole battle with the people you could saw around. Why there is a big risk in that parce que Jawara tamit non lañ daan wax ne Jawara baxna way nit ñi ko wër la Yaya Jammeh ñew reñ ñu ne Yaya Jammeh baxna way nit ñi ko wër la Barrow tamit ngey ñew ñu ngi nit ñi ko wër kañ la ñun suñ président di am seen brain bop seen mind bop di read analyze things di assess things kañ la ñu am parce que man dama lay gis ñun suñ président dafa nekk social media di bakat photo nit ñi not even ne handle la sami dañ fa day nekk way so most of the time most people mo fa nek di back and forth saka weekend ni sa su free dang ko gis muy binda ma ngi ni fi la nek li la joge bank ci ala bi ma ngi ni you interact with people they read Barrow mun na tok social media seet li fa xew type Gambia gis liñ fa binda yep mu tok xol ko yeb pare lu mu understand Barrow am na resources ci mo ñu ne mané explain na ma li ki li la wax xam nga you use your mind Barrow nak fire
where do you lolo that's quite true why you have to Barrow da nga seet
dañ ko Jawara dañ ko Yaya Jammeh ñun kañ la ñoo génn ci loolu Suleiman you are back yaa ngi meet Suleiman Jeng yaa ngi ñoo dégga no for now Suleiman ngi am problem
no man maa ngi fine I think it's my background bi la noise tuuti rek waaye lima doon wax mooy ne understand na xam nga Barrow fi mu starté we all know ne understand nga moom si boppam admitoon na ne at the beginning xam nga he is new in the job, hamut much. So why he would rely on his technicians, borrowing his term, technicians, instead of technocracy. So ñoo ko support. But unfortunately, those technocrats you have ne munglen employee, ñoo nekku di liggéey bi. Waaye xam nga su fekkoon ne moom soo liggéey daf laa daaxa. Guy dañoo liggéey because Yaya Jammeh time boobu loolu la dee def. Mun na la appoint léegi the next minute mu jël sa broda appoint kooku daaxa.
Exactly.
So
the Suleiman Jeng, the person gonna criticize, Kokla Baro gonna promote. Well, why? Because I don't get it. People in Nini criticize ne kili more def ni. Sila la Baro gonna promote.
Because no link de dugal si bopam bi la hamanda daf de tok xalatal gestul bopam. Because so waxe ñu ne waaw ndey bugud la ñu dem si mom day ni ak ni so dula buga gis sa. Understand? Why da nga gis ne as a smart leader suñ la waxee ne kii daf la dee criticize déglu kooku lim dee wax ci yow li moo wax ci yow na dafa am na amul
okay I think Suleiman
kooku lim dee wax anyway harama bàyyi leen ba am na next week inshallah
background problem.
Okay, you take care guys.
Suleiman, thanks. Suleiman Jeng, Jerejef, thanks a lot. Yeah. Suleiman be me explain kan drong aning sol fana ye call membe for drong and a beta ta nata dal wolem ko system onying. It looks like system ole failed dal system ole nyanta falinna system ole nyanta adjusta so malo ite mun so be mem fola janni ila fenko last word the message out there me alon ko mol sa jube anu diningol fanang pour que yamari fanang.
Yeah, exactly. I think, Sister Ndeye, what is important is Gambians need to take irregular migration with seriousness. We should stop downplaying it. I will continue to repeat this.
Yes.
Fonga political bondage. Nga ko migration o mukule de miyalanko is a threat to our country right now. Irregular migration, or rather, is a threat to our country right now. Okay. Smuggler solu, ning trafficker solu, ben na bankole use can has a hope, kananga je ke la fenkol. Sometimes like a kulung kabandin in Senegal, kananan through Gambia, I multi Gambia ita. So nimang serious migration on Carola definitely is irregular migration on Carola definitely is going to put our country into a big mess. Police oluba katakane credits to defense and interior of the current activities that they are doing. This is what we have been talking about. We don't expect our police officers to be proactive, to be reactive. They need to be proactive. Past months and recent they are always reactive. They only come acknowledge ning tragedy happened. But then look, from January to date, if only Bafokane proudly go, they intercepted more than 700 people of going.
So when the willpower is there, when the will is there, things happen.
Exactly. So basically, think about this. Near title more intercept no, acknowledge. So we are talking about 700 people live in Gambia in 1 week, within a week. If that trend continue, that is catastrophic. So Ntolube wole fokan, manke opposition to Adama Barrow. Ndol mantar opposition party fasa kan mbemim fasa kan wala mun na banko la fannikel ngaje ko na banko la fannikel yes yetama but yetama ni nyala anin silala min yalon ko wala safeta ibe tanko sotala wala kono ibe bunya ni hormo sotala wala kono but not moli na ye manipulate some of them even most of them e bukan na message your life. Because if you can get a chance or get opportunity or but it only on a level of understanding than the wallet. Not irregular migration or danger because Imam Bulakon, Dolu Backay coming come Backay Nganila Kama, Ibrahim Backay and Nganila Kama, anybody walking towards this thing, they Backay and Nganila Kama. What am I to go? Lafita Letama. But in Malafi Aletama Ninsilamia and Comola can I calm manipulate Kafaleko, Ninsi or need 3 war wrong even 7 days even in Spain, Adunda can have in the Yana. Membe Buko be for you. Molu being Kafuta, Honey ala community my Kafuta, Ul Batarim Bala Kafuta, don't cut up between dead or alive let him. Don't live for the majority of them live that they get some Sambalotano letter. Kataraki Latin Mokafuta, for local Sabalokun Naralbamoi. Simply because I am Mantoro Nimpatalu in Takisiloka. basically. So, brothers and sisters, Ninsilo Mansonia, more hundreds of people level Fakanye. So, Malafi, wale continue, wala tinna, Benin Kachal continue, wala tinna, Mal discourage them. Silo Lucio no as a Tamano Nimina, Almo Silo no, Abarakabak and Dale for having me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Abarkabake, always good to have you. Ngamira next week, hopefully, the immigration PR sotono, and then Honorable Tunkara, hopefully, afanansa make no purka tarajang. Abarkabake la time and everything, all the work you are doing. Ngalong ko ikanyin doko kele amanke ko ijawi atale warai lafta diningol kana tama bari ilafta ifango ya fo nyameng. Ye tama bari yake tama siloto imanya na fala je imanya tara through these difficulties mbe ya jele ko akole atale nyin tamo ngaje mol ka fa nyamen ngaje ka mol barama nyamen ngaje ka mol lipa nyamen ngaje kujama mane jamale ka kono so man la Gambia killing even hani mo man la fila ila moye tara nyin sifa bata kono nyin sifa sloka so mafala barka bake sol baji barka bake is always good to kar soto nyin panelo taka different me bake andun Suleiman Dem fanang barka bake afana natata mafala honorable tunkare ko barka bake ala time ay menke even though abe busy and la schedule to anata jang nga call kacha nga mol ifanan mol ya long it will be men kang be men koto ika call kenyamen kanyo understand kanyo faham ka hakilo di nyola dal ando mbafula fanan jube la melbe safero la mbafula la barka bake ala commensol so sometimes buka be tano barin ka readle time to time fanang ala barka bake hakil nale fengo fenso altol fanang ala safe na ya safe Skype wala content or box or telephone number mbj WhatsApp photo Mustafa ya mba sotolale just topic so call men alia mira we should take it up alia fenke because jang is hakilo di nyol drong ka call ka chame alon ko ay banko sula ko me ka banko batandi ko me alon ko fanan akatina banko mantano nyato pour nga jube nga solutionol nyinin be nga jube mba client because Gambia be talem mo tate Gambia ti mo la bank te wangle president baro mo president da malati nga mande to le dela kay ko na banko mutanye na banko jube nye na banko tamadi bari atata nata ntolle tamu Gambia ti na jentol kasi jambe nyin ko fola be nyimbe diam la amanke hajin tangiati o amanke mam fenso me menkela bi mo sibitole ti nga ku jama soto me menkela because we can all in jama tol do ka free o time moy fana ye time do soto ni la family and everything bari ngajele ko nin ku suman solve akantol fana batandile mbe sirin jang mbe sirin diaspora mbe sirin nyulo kono but ni suman tamam fanal kapatale because ko ku yesu affect akantol fana affect nim price wol salseleta akan affect because ni be dalasi kila dalasi fulale ka ki ning domoro mantara su akan fana affect le nin ko hani la badingol because abu kada badingol damala ila friends all dolbe social media dolbe de mol katara ikanne drong pour ye help bari buka mobe help no ite mobe help no wala na lafta banko e dada isaji ko mol me ya lon ko sulata mako rola ay tala ande asi manage no be sa manage no ala barka bake mbafala Mustafa fanay ko barka bake Mustafa ti jambi internet connection problem mo le alon ko buka soneya Gambia so wolem challenges ol bele bije Aziz manna bi mba fanan konton na bamba mas fana o fana mantra je ke be konton mba fala la barka bake andung be lamin sadam sanya fanan konton na because akamol mako inung audio la bari ngala bulo fana be mutarine and all the jubera ala barka bake so thank you jere njef
Thank you, Ndei. Baraka Bake, you just summarized it well. Banko te tamo no nim funding ke ulmang empower.
Yes.
Yes. Nim ga arma boro yo ka kunto salam. Nama ka kunto ay mirako ay kodo membe sunya o batina la dimba na fala. Ay badingol so de menia lonko. Ana dingol will be level laba no problem o kono sinin sama, including this Bilay Tunkara to his credit. So
exactly.
they have to think about that. Ka foko sinin sama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Japan be problem momento. I'm sure the prime ministers who were there before, their children and their progeny, their grandchildren are suffering through the condition because Niman population all a problem of fix. Ila aging population is gonna die.
Yeah.
It's a youth sort of China, we're not they changing they want one child policy. It's because of that problem. They know it's coming.
Yeah.
So Alain also a very good opportunity with the population of the youth. Nimme Topodo. We will have a consequence. So have a good weekend.
Abarka, nice weekend as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay. And streaming.